Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're actually fishing a drainage that has not been featured on the channel yet. This is the Coosa River drainage. And just missed one right there. The reason we're here is this fish right here, if he stays on. That's a little one, but it's the target species. This is a redeye bass. And this is the OG redeye bass that is only native to the Coosa River drainage. And it was actually first described from this drainage, so it is sometimes called the Coosa bass by some anglers, but this is the true redeye bass. I know a lot of people call rock bass redeye bass, but this is the legit OG redeye bass right here. And taxonomy is kind of like Highlander. There can be only one, so this is, the redeye bass. Redeye bass is the accepted common name of just one fish, and this is it right here. Even though some anglers call rock bass redeye bass, that's just kind of a nickname. It's not a formal designation or anything. But we'll let this guy go. I need one for the Georgia Bass Slam, and they need to be 8 inches, and this guy's probably just a little bit short. But I'm hoping we get some a lot bigger than this. But we'll get him back in the water. Like I said, we are in the Coosa River drainage. There are 3 native species of black bass here. The redeye bass, which we just caught, the Alabama bass, and the largemouth bass. This is really not prime water, but it was 49 degrees this morning, so I'm kind of getting off to a slow start here. There's another redeye bass right there. It was about like the last one. It was not a big fish. I'm standing up so I could see him pretty good. Well, now that was not the same fish. That was a better fish right there. I'm not real sure if it was a redeye bass, but it most likely was. See if he wants a little shaky head action. Well, I blew it. He was not that big, but I think he was big enough to meet the 8-inch Georgia Bass Slam requirement. That's okay. I can just about guarantee we're going to catch one there. If not that cast, somewhere in this pool. It's considerably deeper than the water just below it, and we've got a shoal just above it with adequate current. There we go. Let's see if he'll stay hooked. It's the wrong species. That is an Alabama bass, a small one. He tricked me. I thought he was a redeye bass. He was where a redeye bass should be, just wrong species. But that's not unusual when you're fishing the Coosa drainage. These guys are everywhere, literally. That bird, by the way, you're hearing, that's a Carolina wren. And that's kind of an alarm call that they do. Usually if you hear that around the house, there's a cat. So if you have a cat, you've probably heard that sound a lot around the house. But if I'm out in the woods and I hear that, I know something spooked that bird. It's kind of like a little warning. Of course, here in this scenario, it's me. I'm the threat. But if I'm out in the woods by myself and I hear that, I hear that bird, it gets my attention usually. Just could mean there's someone else. Could mean you're not alone, basically. Material for them to eat. Now what I'm looking at right here is this big log. I didn't cast anywhere near it. I'm kind of under a big sycamore tree right now, but that's the kind of place you could have a big redeye bass or a big Alabama bass. A tree like that, right at a shoal, right near a shoal here, or just above one. That was a good cast. I guess if I catch a fish, it'll be a really good cast. There he is. Let's see what we got. Oh wow! Now this is a shadow bass. It's in the rock bass genus, but because we're in the Coosa drainage, this is a shadow bass, not a rock bass. This is the Mobile Basin, I guess, version of the rock bass. It's just a different species. But again, it looks almost, I mean, it has a lot of the same features the rock bass have, but again, this is a shadow bass. And the fish in this genus are collectively known as the rock basses, but again, this is a shadow bass. We're in the Coosa drainage, which is part of the Mobile Basin, so not a rock bass. If we were in the Tennessee drainage or part of the Mississippi Basin, the Ohio River, Tennessee River, Mississippi, that would be a rock bass, but we're in the Mobile Basin, and that's a shadow bass there. Not at all what I was expecting. On the shaky head. He was over near that log. It must not be very deep over there, because he would not be there otherwise. The shadow bass, by the way, it is in the sunfish family. It's just in a different genus. You've got the Micropterus genus, which has all the game fish people like to catch, the black basses. That's the Micropterus genus. Then you've got the sister genus is the Lepomis genus, and that's the sunfish genus, which has all of a lot of the fish people call brim. Oh wow, I don't know what that was, but it was pretty big and ill-tempered. Wow. I'm kind of wondering if that wasn't a striper. I've never caught one on a shaky head. I know people who have, but they were typically reeling in. You know, I was just fishing on the bottom real slow. I don't know what that, that was weird, real weird. I guess I could have snagged a carp or a, some other, like a buffalo, smallmouth buffalo, or not real sure what that was. There's just not enough light, you know. If in a couple hours I would have been able to see what, you know, with the sun up over the trees, I could have seen what was there. The water's that clear. I just, in the shade here, I can't really make out anything. And it could have been a big Alabama bass. I don't know. Something definitely bit the worm and carried it off. It wasn't really, I don't think I snagged a fish. I definitely felt a bite and then the rod load up. So something was carrying my worm off, my shaky head off. There's a little red-eye bass. It's the best one so far. I'm pretty sure he's 8 inches, but I'm not gonna, I know we'll get a better one, so I'm not gonna stick him on the board. That is the OG red-eye bass though. Micropterus coosae. Get this guy back in the water. And he was near that tree hanging over the water. Did not like my bait being there. Look at that. There's another one. This one's a little better. Oh yeah. Now we're getting there. This guy might be 10 inches. I'm gonna clean my camera lens. That's a better one. They're just amazing fish. Not sure if you can see the white. Not only does he have the white margins on the soft dorsal, but his spiny dorsal fin tips are white. If you can, I don't know how good this camera is, but there's his the dorsal spines are white, just the tips there, and he's also got the white around the margin of the anal fin here, and of course the caudal fin, the tail fin. You can see the margins there are also white. But that's just a beautiful fish. And he was right under that tree up there, right under this tree. You can see all that foam is kind of coming right towards where that tree is. So that's really always a high percentage type place. Okay, get the release on this guy. Ah, that was a fish. It was probably a big red-eye bass. Of course, since I lost him, I can say pretty much anything at this point. I saw him turn sideways though while I was hooked. This pocket, by the way, is a fly fisherman's dream, I'm sure. Wow. Somehow I got my shaky head to come off that log, which is a miracle. There's somebody's wading shoe up there. I don't know if you can see the sole. It's kind of facing the camera right there. I hope there's nobody's foot in it. Well, I'm pretty sure I blew any chance I had to catch this fish. We'll try this area on the way back down. I ain't believing that. Jeez. Two good ones lost. I need to bring my flipping rod. Flipping for red eyes. That's going to be the next video. I'm going to need my kayak to retrieve that. Maybe not. I might be able to get upstream here. Basically, this is real fast moving water, and you would not expect a fish to be there, but what we have is right on the edge of that fast water here. You've got a back eddy right there where the foam is, and there's a little bit of a current seam behind this log, and that's where those big fish were holding. Or I say big is relative. They were probably 10 to 12 inch red-eye bass. Maybe bigger than that, who knows? That's a conservative estimate. The first one was on the upstream side of this log, and that last one was on the back side here where my shaky head is currently residing, buried in that tree. I had the fish hooked, but as so often happens when you have your line over a piece of wood, you know, you don't get a good hook set. You really don't bury the barb into the fish. Wow. Okay, all that for 75-cent shaky head. If nothing else, you got a better look at where those fish were holding. Well, we've reached a break in the water willow. We've got us a nice pool here, so I'm gonna make a few casts, see if I can't conjure one up here. Well, we made it. This is the largest pool and the deepest pool we've come to. And what I really like is not only do we have some trees hanging over the water here, if you look up the left side, there's lots of bedrock outcrops. So this winter, as stream levels and flow rates change, the fish that are in this section can use that as a refuge. That bedrock, it's not going to move. It doesn't matter what level the water is at. They can tuck in behind that and use that as a refuge, you know, now through next spring. So this is the kind of place that will hold fish all winter. I expect there to be some here. I can see one right there. And there's quite a few fry right here. There's a couple juvenile Alabama bass right there. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but anyway, there's going to be quite a few fish in this section. It was not easy to get up here, so I don't think too many people have been fishing it. Might be wrong about that, but I'm seeing lots of shiners, lots of forage fish, and it's a pretty clean bottom too, which is kind of what you'd expect. You know, it's a pretty high gradient section. I mean, you saw what I had to walk through to get up here. The channel gradient's pretty steep. So we've got, you know, most of the silt is trapped, you know, in between those sections when you have a steep gradient like that. So it's really really a nice clean bottom for the most part. Wow. Wow. That is, what is that? It's got a belly like a trout, but it's looked like a, I don't know, Alabama bass, a nice one. He doesn't even know he's hooked, I don't think. He's about to go nuts. Yep. I just hit the thumb bar when they, I don't think he's big enough to weigh, but I'll definitely throw him on the board. That fish is close to 19 inches. Jeez. Come on, buddy. Yeah, he's not quite 19 inches, I don't think. He's probably 18. My pliers are in my dry bag, which is not a good place for them, but I generally don't need them when I'm targeting redeye bass. This guy's was kind of an unexpected catch. He was not coming off, that's for sure. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got here. Oh, he's been caught before. So he's 18 with the mouth closed. I guess you guys can see that. He's about to go nuts. Just a nice Alabama bass right there. We'll get him back in the water. It's a native Alabama bass in the Coosa drainage. Wow, he was ready. There's one. That's the right species. He should have done that in the water. Not a large one. Another beautiful little redeye. He's probably 9 or 10 inches maybe. Really nice colors on that guy. We'll put him back in the water. Try to get a bigger one.